back to the channel. Welcome to Psychology at Work and Play. This is the channel where we focus on personal development, health for wealth, and realigning mindset. You are at the right place, the Mindset Academy. In today's video, we are going to talk about 6 core things that you need to do if you are thinking about getting married. Oftentimes, we get into relationships without discovering ourselves and discovering some important parts of our lives that we are going to have to share. We are going to dive right into these 6 key points to consider if you are going to get married. So the first thing you are going to learn is to adopt self-love. Many of us don't know how to love ourselves. And if you don't know how to love yourself, I don't know how you are going to give yourself to someone else to be loved. We have to acknowledge who we are as individuals, love who we are as individuals, love the very existence of yourself, love the way you're shaped, you love the behaviors that you have, you love your personality on whole, just loving yourself, accepting who you are, your flaws, your faults, they are yours. Fall in love with them. And when others come and identify them as your flaws, you will be able to smile in the face of adversities and say, yes, I am aware and I love all of me, including my faults. The second point to consider if you are planning to get married is to assess and to understand if you are ready or willing to share your personal space. Oftentimes in relationship, conflict occurs because you're accustomed to living alone. And by living alone, you adapt to certain things. You put your clothes where you want it. You put your shoes where you want it. You move about. There's no one to put anything in your personal space. But when you get married, you're sharing your space with someone else. All those private areas that you have, your partner will now want to put his or her stuff, personal stuff, in those spaces. You will share your closet. You will share your kitchen. You will share your bedroom, which is oftentimes the most sacred space where you can retreat when life is not going how you want it. It's a safe space. You are going to have to share your safe space with a partner. Decisions that you make, all of those about how you operate within your space, it's not just going to be yours. It's going to be yours and your partner's. So most times, conflict will occur because someone will come home, take off their shoes and leave it at a bad spot, take their socks off. They will eat, not wash the dishes, leave them in the sink. Groceries come, things are not packed out. So all of these things will now become reality that someone else is sharing your space, and it can very well cause conflicts that cause separation even in the beginning of that relationship. Third point is to examine your habits if they are aligned to relationships. Marriage is a partnership, and many times people get in relationships, they are living together as common law partners for years, and everything goes well. But the moment people decide to get married, it becomes a problem because our expectations change and materialize and grow, because we then start believing that because we are married, things are going to change. When I got married many moons ago, we went to the hotel, we had our honeymoon, and we went back home. That morning, the first morning after the marriage, my husband, I noticed when I got out of bed, my husband was still lying in the bed. So I said to him, honey, why are you still in bed? He said he wanted breakfast in bed. No, I've never done this before. We've never shared breakfast in bed. We generally do stuff together, or he would go one place and I would go another place. But there he was. We just got married and he was having new expectations. All I could say to him that, listen, honey, if you don't get it today, don't get up. Don't get up. You know what he said to me? I was just checking to see if I was going to get it. Just trying my luck. If it works, it works. So it doesn't work, so that's it. And that taught me a very important lesson, that whatever you know the person as before the marriage, it doesn't change. People have too much expectation of changes when you get married. When a ring is placed on your finger, you expect that everything is going to be different. I am going to start dressing differently. I am going to speak differently. My patterns of behavior are going to change. If you are already in that relationship and committed to that relationship, then you don't need to create any new changes in that relationship. Because what will happen is that when you start making these changes that you're not accustomed to, they are not habits. It's going to be very difficult for you to maintain those habits. And that is what causes change in the relationship as you grow into it. Because people start believing that you have changed, when in fact, who they knew before marriage was really who you are. The person you adopted and transformed yourself to be when you got married is a false picture of what you think marriage is. And therefore, we have to look at the duties that comes with marriage. All those duties, the activities. Nothing much changes. The only thing changes when you get married is that you're formally on a piece of paper together. You are formally a team. You're formally a pair. That's the only difference. It's written on paper. The fourth thing you want to do is to evaluate what you like about your partner. And that usually is done in the premarital counseling. Look at what you like about your partner. Look at the dislikes. You have to measure how much you are willing to take, how much you are willing to accept about your partner's personalities and behaviors. And both of you in that should have the understanding that when you make the step going forward, you are both accepting and understanding that this is what is going to be. So you also want to get to know the person, understand their growth plan. Where are you going? Persons get in relationships without realizing that some persons will never grow. And then when you transition into the marriage, then you start expecting the person to be somebody else, to be something else, just to be something a little more. But you, in fact, did not explore their dreams, their desires, their aspirations, their mindset. And oftentimes you hear people say, I did not know that's how he was. And that is why it is important for you to go on dates. Go on dates and get to know the person that you intend to get married to. Because if you don't know this person, when you get in the marriage, it's going to be when the official document is signed and sealed and you start expecting different things. It will not come. Frankly, get to know your partner's dreams, desires, aspirations. Because if they have none now, they may never develop any. So from now, from the get-go, you want to help them to understand where they're going and where you are also going in life with them. Without knowing that, you are operating blindly, and that is also a reason why relationships fail. The fifth thing that you need to do is know your partner's likes and dislikes. And you also need to communicate those likes and dislikes. For example, in your sexual relationships, you may get sexual stimulation from being touched at certain locations. Some people like to be touched at their neck. Some people like to be kissed on their big toes. Some people like to be caressed all over. Some people like a lot of foreplay, longer foreplay than others. Some people just like simple to get straight to the point. You know, all of these things you need to communicate them to your partner. And there are certain activities that some persons are comfortable with doing during sex. Those are some of the things that you need to have conversation with your partner before you actually get into the relationship, get into the marriage aspect of it. And you must also, within that conversation, identify and point out boundaries. There are some things that you prefer not to do in relationships. Some persons will do anal sex. Some people like it as a part of their relationship. If you know these are not things that you want to engage in, you need to communicate that to your partner before you actually get into the marriage. If you are engaging in it prior to the marriage, then you can expect that that behavior and that expectation is going to be carried through. And therefore, my encouragement is to talk about those likes, talk about those dislikes, and look at what are the options, explore before. Sometimes people like to be spontaneous and they like to try new things, but at least the basic, your partner needs to know that there are certain things that are out for you because you have established those boundaries and they need to be aware of those boundaries. So the sixth thing I want to say to you before you consider getting married is, when in doubt, leave it out. Many times we don't use our intuition and things will happen and we don't pay attention. You use your gut feeling because sometimes the red flags are right there in front of you to tell you that the person that you're in a relationship with will never change. They may not change. They may demonstrate certain things to you and you think it is just in passing, but you know your gut feeling is telling you that things are not going to change, right? You have to also look at how he treats you. Look at how she treats you. Look at how she speaks to you, right? Before the whole commitment, how long did it take for him to commit to you? Did you have to coerce him into getting married to you? Because if you do that, if you have to fight him and trap him or trap her into marrying you, then when the reality is there, the person is going to go back to all of those feelings of resentment and mistrust. So you have to think about all of those things. Do not ignore the red flag. You have to also look at how he treats his family. If he's a man, how he treats his mother. Look at the female. How does she communicate with her family members? Is she respectful? Is she disrespectful? Because whatever is the norm for her as she grows, it's going to be the norm that is displayed in the relationship. It only takes 3 months for a person's real colors or real personality to show up. After 3 months, you can't mask or hide that personality or those behaviors anymore. So you have to look at his temperament. Is he angry? Is he someone that is easy to have conversation with? Is he easygoing in making decisions? Does he value your ideas? Does he value your suggestions? Does he allow you to be a part of decision making? Or is it something that he or she alone makes all the decisions? Look also at the basic expression of love. Is he someone who is willing to say, I love you, or cuddle you and allow you to know for sure that you are loved? Or you have to be wondering consistently, all the time you have to be wondering, am I really loved? He's never shown me the affectionate side. When do you expect to get it? After you get married? Because what you're seeing before you get married is what you are going to get. Do not go into that relationship with any great expectation of major differences. And that is all again why it is important to spend time to get to know your partner. Look at the ability to compromise. Are they the ones, or is he or she the one that is always taking the lead role? Is he or she always the one that will have to compromise when something happens, giving up? Are you able to give up some of the time to allow the winnings? Or I wouldn't say so much the winning, but sometimes you have to give up your right to make things work. Who is always the compromising one? Is the person even willing to compromise? So these are just a few of the things that you have to look at as you think about getting married. I am happy that you were able to share this very important information with me. If you value all this information that I've been sharing, I ask you to go to the bottom of this page and please subscribe to my channel. Like the video if you think there is important information in here that other people need to hear. And hit the notification bell. That means when I am out with another video, you will be the first to hear. Thank you for joining me on Psychology at Work and Play. You're just coming out now of the Mindset Academy. Continue to join me. Continue to be here. And I look forward to seeing you another time. Take care. Bye-bye. Ta-ta.